When people are stopped for DUI, a lot of people try to talk their way out of it. And as a retired DUI cop, I can tell you, we're already planning on making the arrest. We use verbal judo, and we'll drag stuff out of people, get them to say things. They'll start always, where are you coming from? Really not their business where you're coming from, but that's one of the first questions. How much you had to drink tonight? They're eliciting things, and people are like, well, if I answer it, they're going to give me a better thing. No, they're building their case. These days, unfortunately, they're a lot of times trying to get drinking drivers, not drunk drivers, because they're fighting against Uber and Lyft, and they're getting some of their business. They're trying to get to a spot. They're trying to get from A to B, and the more you talk, the more you're going to kind of mess yourself up. You have an absolute right not to talk to them. You got to get out of the car. You got to give them your paperwork for your car registration and your license. Don't say a lot, okay? I always tell people, it's kind of like when you're in high school and you've been drinking and your parents are still up when you get home. That's not the time to do a lot of chit-chat. Going up to your room, go to sleep. The cops are recording. South Carolina's had mandatory recording for probably 25 years. We're the only state that has mandatory recording. They've got a car camera. They've got a mic hidden in the back seat, so if you're back there talking and nobody's in there, you're on the phone or whatever, they're recording all this. They've got body cams. Everybody's got these body cams. They're recording it there. When you go to the breast site, they're recording all of that. So it is like Hollywood. They got a video of everything. So keep that in mind when you're talking to them. Be polite. Don't give them, they've got their job to do. Be polite, because that's one of the big things down the line. It's one of the first questions I ask any potential client to see if they're a good fit for us is, did you get along with this police officer? And if they tell me no, they had to tase me, they're not our type client. We're not going to represent people that give a lot of grief to law enforcement because they don't get paid to put up with it. They're good men and gals that go out there and do it. It's a dangerous job. They don't get paid to put up with your lip, is what I tell people. So we want to make sure that you're cooperative with them. Don't say a whole lot because you're just incriminating yourself. So that's something you got to think about if you are stopped, whether they arrest you or not. But they're typically, if you admit you had something to drink, that's what that's all they hear, and they're on to it. They're like, all right, get out of the car. You don't have to do field tests in South Carolina. It is not disobeying a police officer. Many years ago, we had to get the legislature to pass that law because there were officers that were locking people up for disobedience because they wouldn't do their field test. I don't know how it became their field test. It's the NHTSA test. It's not like they own them, but they finally had to pass it because people were getting arrested for that. And they're like, well, I just have a right not to do that. So that's a big thing people need to realize. You don't have to really say a whole lot, give them the information. If they ask you to get out of the car, you got to get out of the car or they'll get you out, and that's not a good way to start the night. And if you do the field test, just say, I don't think I want to do that. You'll probably be arrested anyhow, but you're not incriminating yourself. And the more you talk and the more things you do for them, they're used to it. They're not going to get, ranting mad. They're used to people that sometimes don't do what they ask them to do. But it's better for your case if you don't do a lot of things. Now, if you do all this stuff, then that's where we're at. And then we deal it from there. And we understand the field test, the breath machine, whatever you did, we understand how to treat that also.